Well, guys, so I'll do a bit of fishing again today. The only problem is they've seen us fishing in the same spot catching fish, and they've put nets in the water now, so I can't fish that. So I've had to come up a little bit from the bridge. You know, I don't know whether they're going to catch any here, but we give it a go anyway. There's a bridge. It's a good 50 yards upstream, so you never know. People still fishing above the bridge. You know, it's the same people. But I think it's been exploited now, this river, obviously, you know. It always has been, but I think lately it seems to be more and more people seem to be netting it and fishing it. I don't know. Anyway, let's give it a go. Okay, I've settled in. I've had one bite. I didn't think I would. I was going to get one, but there we are. You never know about fishing, though, do you? You know, I can think back over the years when I used to, you know, go to a swim, and you know, you'd be defeated before you start. You know, in a lot of matches. But then I learned, you never know with fishing. Anything could happen. And fish do swim, don't they? They sort of move in and move out, and upriver, downriver. You know, which is a good lesson, you know, to anyone who's basically learning. You know, never give up. You never know. You never know. So anyway, today I'm just fishing the bread. You know, it's like a rough cut bread, dampened down slightly with a bit of you know, the rice powder. It's not the ideal blend, really. I mean, I'm sure there could be better mixes so I could use. I just ordered some rice and pork, you know, some crispy pork. Now, what I didn't tell them is that I'll be eating a little bit of rice, but the most of it I'll be putting in the ground bait, because that's got like a sticky substance. And it reminds me of the time years ago when obviously we used to fish the Y, and you know, when you weren't so good in them days, you know, you didn't have lots of money, so we improvised. We used to put in with the ground bait, we used to put, you know, oats and rice, boiled rice, because they resembled a maggot, didn't they, you know, and it helps to bind the ground bait, and it's something that, you know, I haven't seen anyone use for a while. A friend of mine, Clive Roberts, used to use it a lot. You know, mix up a load of boiled rice in amongst the ground bait, and as you can imagine, as it sort of breaks up in the water, it's like maggots, I suppose, and the fish get used to eating it. So you know, something that you never know, could use back home. I'm definitely going to try it on here as soon as my meal comes. Yeah, I used it last time actually. I only had a little bit, and I tried it to bind the ground bait together, and it worked well, and I had a couple of fish, you know, not actually on the rice itself, but in the ground bait. Yeah, so it's, you know, it's quite a universal cereal, isn't it? You know, sort of rice. Same with bread. You know, fish get used to it. Right, it was baking hot at the moment. It's about 30 degrees, and it's probably a bit more. I'm slightly in the shade a little bit, but not a lot. I can feel the heat coming, piercing through the leaves. There you are. Can't complain. I heard it's getting a bit warmer back home. So anyway, talking about that, I'll be back now in the next couple of weeks, fishing a few matches, doing a few vlogs. So hopefully, you know, you can catch up with me then. Okay. So I'm on to my third cast, and I just had a little knock then. I noticed there's a couple of fish coming up. I think they're swai, I think. Not huge ones, but a swai is like a catfish, you know, and it seems to feed on the top. As I said, I did try the bread. You know, one just come up then. I see if I can capture one on the camera if I can. I'd love to have a proper go with them, you know. don't know whether waggler or maybe one of them ground bait feeders, you know, those ground bait feeders that they're quite a buoyant float, and they attach a feeder to it. And what they do, they put all the ground bait around the frame, and as it disperses, obviously the fish come up and take your bait. It's quite popular over here in Thailand, and it reminds me back in the 1980s when we used to fish a Woodstock pond, it was called, in Newport. And anyway, it was about 35 yards cast across. Now the problem is, you know, you could cast across, but you couldn't loose feed it. Not quite. You know, you could try sticky maggots. That would work, but you know, pinkies was the thing. And anyway, I designed a float called a feeder float. I think it was the first one ever. I wrote an article about it and put it in the Angling Times paper, I think, wrote about it. Anyway, basically it was a Drennan feeder and a Drennan plastic float, and I super glued it together so I could put the maggots and the pinkies inside the feeder. Of course, I had to adopt the float. I had to put a longer antenna on it so that when I cast, the antenna would be sort of dotted down, and as the maggots would creep out of the feeder, the antenna would lift. Of course, sometimes it would be a lift bite, and sometimes you just sail away. And it's a great little method. Won a few matches, you know, evening matches mainly, catching rudd and little crucians and roach and skimmers. I did try to market that float. I did start making a few, but they're very expensive to make, and you can't quite get the right materials now to do it. But yeah, just, you know, it's funny how things come back. Old methods come back sometimes, and they still work. I remember a guy named Rod Hill fishing on the Gloucester Canal, and I remember I had a couple in my box, and I think he came down and had a look before the match, and he said he designed something similar, but like a ground bait feeder. And what he done, he put an open-ended feeder, he super glued that onto a float, and it was the same principle basically. You'd cast out with the ground bait in the feeder to the same spot. The ground bait would be released, of course, and the float would come up in the water. It looked a bit cumbersome, but I'm sure it would work. Oh, the bite then, I missed the bite. Talking away, chatting away. Of course, these polystyrene balls I'm using the bait, it's not quite the same as, yeah, I'll just quickly show you there, look. There's the feeder again. There's a little polystyrene bait. I've got on the float, yeah. Oh. So, anyway, so Rod Hill, God rest his soul, passed away. But I always remember that. He's a good angler, Rod. He used to be #1 in the draw all the time. And I often asked him, I said, why do you go first? And he said, well, all the pegs are in there, which is true. But then I also thought all the bad ones are as well. And then there's I got this other guys like Ian Shepherd, for example, at Evesham. He'd be the last one to draw, and he always seems to get a good peg. And he always says, let the anglers draw the bad pegs first. So I don't know, it's a couple of different theories. Anyway, there's my grandmate now. Oh, she's just coming back now, I think.
I think your
What's that, honey?
something.
What?
Your eat coming.
My food is coming.
Yeah, I put in here.
Yeah, okay.
Or there in the on there.
Let me see. There you are. So what I got here. Could you give me a bit more rice, honey? Yeah, so anyway, I just had a little bit of a mouthful of that, and I put the rice into the ground bait. Hopefully it should stick the ground bait a bit better. Had a bit of rain last night. There's a lot of leaves and stuff coming down the river. I don't know whether that'll put the fish off or help the fish come on a little bit, who knows. I know back home, a bit of rain sometimes will could either do one or two things. It could either bring them on to feed or put them off. I fished the Severn a lot past couple of years, and basically same thing there. You know, when you get the sediment in, it's not very good at all. There you go. Right, see if this rice will help to bring on a couple. So what I'm doing is I'm making a ball, almost like a, not quite a ball, like a big sausage, I suppose. Trying to squeeze as much as I can, because I counted out, it's about 14-15 seconds down, and I'm using an ounce lead, so you know it's well over 15-16 foot. Yeah. Yeah, I found a difference in this braid. Yeah, fishing braid seems to be a lot better than fishing the mono on you, because it doesn't tend to curl up so much. Whether that work back home, I don't know. Something we'll try anyway. Like I've clipped this up, you know, I hope to get in the same spot every time. Of course, the braid seems to be cutting through the not cutting through the water like mono does. Anyway, there we go. Don't know if you can see the rod up in here, can you? No. Yeah, Thai food's okay, some of it's okay, but a lot of it's very spicy, you know. Well, this is the longest break I've ever had, actually. It's going on 5-6 months soon. Oh, but I'm looking forward to going back to the UK. I've had some ground bait orders come through already, so I'll try and fulfill them as soon as I get back. Giving me time to do my books as well, by the way. I've done the one book, Fishing the River Wye. That's available on Amazon now. The Fishing Guide Wales, I'm hoping to get that out in about a month's time. I'm just waiting for a few people for their adverts to go in there. And again, I'll be marketing that through Amazon. So I've updated that, you know, it's 18 years. I didn't realise it was that long ago when I first produced the one book. I've updated it on the website, but now obviously, you know, ooh, I think there's a bite then. But you can't beat the hand book, can you really? You know, because first of all, you may not get internet to be able to look at the venues, you know, if you go online. Wait to come off then. But having a handbook, you can make little notes with it and you carry it around with you. And as I said, I sold quite a few last time, so hopefully we can sell a few more this time as well. Of course, we've got the internet now, which is a problem, because a lot of information you can get, you know, for free now, really, if you know where to look. But I was thinking about trying to produce a monthly magazine. I used to do a local one in South Wales years ago. Get a couple of local tackle shops that, you know, advertising it to help the cost. But it's all local. I'm thinking it's going nationally now, because it's much easier to actually make a book now, or a magazine, than it was years ago. That was on the button, as they say. And we just let that settle a minute. Yeah, so when I get back, I'm hoping to do a few more vlogs, you know, not so much match fishing, you know, obviously I'll still keep them going, but I'll do sort of a couple of on venues and different places and talk about fishing. Because I think people like to know about the old days, don't they, and even modern technology these days, you know, there's always something to learn. And thanks to all my subscribers who've kept following me on, you know, while I've been away. It's much appreciated. I had a request here the other day actually from one of the lads. He wants to know about slow sinking swim feeders. Hello. But years ago we designed a candle. You know, like you would you know, like a wick. You'd sort of mold it into like a, well, similar to the ground bait really, like a ball, not quite a ball, but like a sausage. Take the wick out through the middle, and what you do, you put your line through it, and you put some shot on it, just enough for it to sink, so it would sink very, very slowly in the water. Of course, you know, it was a great way of catching fish up in the water, in deep water. And I think this lad who asked me, you know, how can he develop, or how, you know, a slow sinking swim feeder. Of course, in them days we used to use what we call swing tips. You used to, you know, cast out. There'd be like a bow in the line, and as the bow would sink, you keep on retrieving the swing tip, so it would slowly sink, you know, drop back, and if it stopped and suddenly go back up, there was a fish on it. So of course, this day and age with very fine quiver tips, you could probably do the same with quiver tips, you know. So there we are. Mark his name was, if he's listened to this video. I'll write about it anyway, but that's one way of making a very slow sinking swim feeder. Well, it's not actually swim feeder because it's a slow sinking weight really. But you can mold ground weight around it, can't you? You know. Of course, talking about ground bait, you know, and feeder fishing. I remember when I was a youngster, fishing for the old Cardiff Nomads team. We had a great team in them days, you know, many years ago. And they won through to the semi-final at the Angling Times Winter League. It was a bit of a journey right down to the Kentish Stour from South Wales. And anyway, I didn't get picked in the team because I was still young at the time, but I went along as a runner. And one of the lads, Richard Baton his name was, never forget, he actually won the match for us. He won individually, and he won the match because he was on weight in them days. And what he'd done, it was something that I hadn't seen before. Basically, he was moulding a ball of ground bait around his arsley bomb, you know, but around the lead, and just chucking out in the middle of the river. Of course, he had a little bit of a tail to it. And he won it with 30-odd pound of roach. No, bream, yeah. And he won the match. And that, to me, was the first time I ever seen anything like it. And that was long before feeder fishing came out. You know, whoever discovered or developed the swim feeder was probably, they probably had years before, but it was never on the market, if you know what I mean. So it was the first time I ever seen that. Oh, Richie, yeah, he's a good angler, thinking angler, Richie was. Unfortunately, don't fish these days. He gave up fishing. He became a very good angler. In fact, I think he was third in the World Championships the year Tommy Pickling won it. And when our team, we actually won the team event. Yeah, so we don't fish anymore, Richie. It's a shame, he's a good angler. His bites are a bit slow, but then it was like this last time. Sun's gone down a bit, which is good. Just twitching it. Yeah, coffee, cold coffee. Yeah, let's get a bit of ground bait there, maybe that's what they want. Yeah, so the little girl's gone to play with a couple of kids. Mopred's gone to eat, as usual. And I'm fishing. Yeah, I'm fishing about 35 yards out, 35, 40 yards. Yeah, so anyway, I've been thinking about things, you know, obviously away. Don't know, it's hard to compete with the youngsters now, match fishing these days, so I might take a little bit of a step back. We'll see how it goes. I like to put more into tuition if I can, because I enjoy that, and the thing is, you know, we can all learn. I put together, as I say, the fishing book, River Wye, River-esque fishing, and a couple of tributaries, and the idea is to use that as a marketing tool to try and get, you know, advertise the fishing that could be done on the rivers, because most of the coaching I do is on the river anyway, you know, on the Wye. But with this book, you've got over 130 different fishing spots to choose from, you know, all the way right up to the Brecon, you know, right up the north, and also right down, you know, to the south. This, you know, it's split in three, if you like. You got the upper, middle, and the lower Wye. Of course, what I have noticed doing my research, a lot of these venues I used to fish years ago are not accessible now. They've been taken up by the you know, by certain companies, which is a good thing in a way, like the you know, the YNS Foundation passport system. But it means, you know, you pay a little bit more than your average 10 quid. You normally pay, you know, 25, 30 quid, 35 quid even for a day's fishing. But that's not bad when you consider, you know, the fishing to be done. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to build in my cost into that. So it won't be much more than what I would normally charge anyway. And you've got the opportunity of then fishing anywhere on the Wye. There's a few other companies as well, like I think it's called Dreams, or Dream Fishing down in Monmouth Way. There's a couple of clubs that's worth joining, I think, as well. Hereford is always a good club to join. They got plenty of water. Monmouthshire, they've got some parts of the way, you know. And there's still a few day tickets, venues. As I say, they're all on my website and in the book. The book's about £9, which is not bad, is it? About £9.50 and £9.35. Because my fishing guide Wales is going to be about that. So far, it's got about nearly 280 pages in that. And there's 4 venues in a page. So you can imagine, you know, it's way over 600 venues in Wales. But mind you, that does include a bit of game fishing and a bit of sea fishing. There's a hell of a lot of course fishing. Oh, there's a light then. I don't know. I'm sure I'll catch one in a minute. All right, come back to me in a minute when I caught one. Okay. Right, well, I'm still waiting for my first fish. Sun's gone down a little bit, which is good. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, I was chatting away then when I about old days and old times and that. And it got me thinking just now, funny enough, about this feeder fishing, you know, where you fish with like a little bow in the line. And, you know, as I said, because I've been around for so many years, I suppose, you know, years ago, we had to learn lots of methods. And this bow in the line method, I tell you how I first come across it. I was only a youngster, and I was invited to go and fish on a boat in the Bristol Channel. And at the time I thought, oh, you know, something different in it, you know. Anyway, I went with, never forget, the local tackle shop in Cardiff, a sea fishing shop more than anything. Mike Miles, Steve Miles then was the owner. His father, he's passed away now. But anyway, still going now, I think, but Mike could be selling up soon. I think he's had enough now. He's kind of for retirement age, so I remember him as a youngster. Anyway, but I got to tell you, so when we went on this boat now, and they were using like pound weights with, you know, like heavy boat rods. And I don't know if you know, but the actual tow on the Bristol Channel is absolutely, you know, it's so powerful. You just, I couldn't see how they could hold the bottom with any lead. I mean, they were using pound weights, they were, grip leads and things. But anyway, I was shown something which I thought, very interesting. What we call uptide casting. So, if you can imagine, the boat obviously would point in one direction with the current as the tide ebbed and flowed. And what you would do, you cast sort of slightly upstream, and then what you do, you'd put a big bow in the line, and that would then the lead would hold the bottom. And I thought, hey, I wonder if that would work on a river, you know, putting a lead out there or a feeder. I mean, it even come to the stage that we bought these light beach casting rods to try it on the Y. A couple of us, you know, and we actually used grip leads, you know, 3-4 ounce grip leads to hold the bottom. Trouble is, you'd weed up a lot then in them days. There's a lot more weed in the Y. Anyway, I thought we'd try it. And you know what? It worked a dream. It worked a dream. I couldn't believe it. You cast out, so you could basically get away with a lot lighter lead than you would normally. You sort of cast it, you know, sort of slightly upstream or just in front of you, and then you create a bow in the line. The more of a bow you put, the better you'd hold the bottom. And of course, what you'd do then, you'd wait for what we call a drop back bite. You know, the fish will hook themselves, and whoop, and you just reel them in, and it's on. So anyway, I wrote an article in the Angling Times about that, and of course this day and age is quite commonplace, isn't it? You know, to actually to fish a bow in the line, you know. So you know, of course, when it comes to feeder fishing, you know, it is a lot more involved than people realise, really. You know, because what we used to do, we used to put long tails, and we used to wind backwards now and again, just to create that little bit of movement on the bait, and that would produce a bite or two. Yeah, it's a bit like twitching, you know. So that's what I'm doing here. In fact, I got a slight bow in the line, where that's the ideal for this sort of fishing, because I'm trying to catch small fish. I'm trying to hook them as they take the bait, because they're not going to hook themselves, you know, these small fish. Some of them do, of course, but it's surprising, you know, even like small dace would, even small dace would sort of give you a drop back bite. Honey, I was thinking, is there anyone fishing over there? Is there anyone over there? I could go over there, can I?
No, people teaching you want to go.
Yeah, I think I'll go over there, because I think there's more fish over there than there's here, because I got a
Okay,
feeling,
go.
yeah, I got a feeling the fish are more around the bridge area, you know, because the shade.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm sure I would catch a fish or two here, but at least over there there's a bit of shade, isn't there? You know, I'm sort of out in the sun a little bit.
You want there, I can move you.
Yeah, you can help me take my gear over. Oh, I'm going on the opposite side of the river now, where we normally fish. I haven't been able to fish there for a while, like, because there's been people there. Yeah, so anyway, there we are. So that gives you a little insight into how the bow in the line method developed. As I say, when I do my courses, when I take people fishing, you know, I try to tell them, you know, the history a little bit about certain methods, how we arrived at them, and yeah. Bite then. Oh, see, I could wait here, and I know I'd catch up a few, but I think you want to go over there and get some snails, because she's trying to get some snails, but I think some people have been in the river after. They've seen her with a bag for last week or the week before, and the local people in the cafe have done it themselves now. No, that's typical, isn't it? In Thailand, people do copy you. Anything you try to do, like, you know, and you're successful, they do tend to copy you. That way. Okay, right, see you in a bit. Okay, I've just moved spot. Yeah, I'm just above the bridge now. So, I haven't had any bites yet. Oh, she's snailing. What, you got snails? Is there many snails?
No, not a lot. People catch or
You think people have been coming and getting them themselves? Yeah, she bagged up last time, and now she's struggling this time.
many, but now not many.
Yeah. But she did what I told her to do. Fair dues. I remember I took some fish back to the local reservoir and released them. Well, she'd done the same with the snail. She had quite a big bag full of them. She kept half and put the other half in there, hoping they'll go on and spawn. So yeah, she's thinking about conservation, which is good. Right. Well, this is my first chuck. I haven't had a bite yet. So, oh, we'll see now. Plenty of time. Yeah, what I've done, I made a little bit of a rod rest here, so I can sort of strike it easy enough, you know. Yeah, bite now. I'm high enough off the water. See some guy over there getting the lily pads or the water hyacinths. It's like Noprit said, you can actually live off the land over here quite easy, you know, if you know what you're doing, if you know what you're collecting and what you can eat. She just got a load of grass off the trees now. I expect she'll want me to, if I catch any, she'll want them for the pot today, I expect. Okay, I'll carry on. Okay, just thought I'd just quickly show you this. The people who are here camping for a week or more, they made a little bit of a Buddha shrine, you know. It's like the shape of a bloody crocodile or something, isn't it? Oh well, back to fishing. Well, I've not had a bite yet. It's been nearly 10 minutes, I think. Maybe the fishing not so good today. Because we had a bit of rain yesterday. And it's a funny thing over here, you know, even though it appears to be warm, just a 1 or 2 degree difference can make the difference between not catching. That was obvious when we used to fish the matches down at Pattaya. Something lurking in the trees there. It's a bit spooky on you, don't you? Yeah, there's someone in the bloody, there's some guy in here in the bushes chopping away out in the water there. I wonder what it was. It was 15 minutes, I still haven't had a fish. I haven't had a bite even. At least only other place had a couple of bites. Yeah, we always think the grass is greener on the other side, don't we? How true that is in fishing sometimes. I remember last year I had twice, oh, that's a bite. I had a chance on the River Severn on a peg 54 or 55, I think it was. And I had a choice, either up tight against the bridge or below. And each time I think I made the wrong decision. Hate that, when you've got to make your own mind up. I'd rather somebody say, right, there's your peg, go and fish it. Anyway, that's something I'll have to learn if I'm going to do a bit of vlogging and a bit of pleasure fishing next year. Yeah, just, I wonder if I can catch, oh, I can take a video of these fish that are rising. They come up now and again. Oh, yeah, there's one come out now, right up there. It's quite a big fish here. Yeah, there's one by there then. If I didn't know better, I would say they might be those catfish coming up for air. I haven't actually seen the fish, I've just seen the disturbance on the surface. I haven't seen no tails or, you know, any body parts. As I said, I did try on the Wagler the other week with the bread. Marvellous, isn't it? No one have come up now. Oh, there's a gecko then. Don't know if you knew that. They make a noise, they say gecko, gecko. I've noticed since we've had a cat in the house, there don't seem so many geckos around. Maybe he's killing them. Well, it's like watching paint dry at the moment. Let's have a look down by here a minute. I tried fishing by here last time, but I couldn't cast properly. Oh no, oh, she's after snails. She's after snails again. Right, Eddie, honey. I wonder what that disturbance in the water was. Crazy. Live off the land. Oh, well, I just had my first fish. No, what happened? A fish topped up, topped close in. So what I've done a little lob out, and I had a fish first chuck. So going out the middle in like 25 foot of water, these fish are probably in the shallower water. So you small, oh, there's a fish come up then. Okay, and I still only had the one. A couple of kids just come up on the bridge, fishing a spinner there. Perhaps after the snakeheads, I think. Maybe there's snakeheads coming up in the water. Who knows? Anyway, something else I'm going to show you now. Notbrad's been collecting bamboo. This is a bamboo tree here. Now, I didn't know that that's edible. And she just got a root of a tree and she just cut it in slices. Let me have a look, honey. So what do you do with that now? You cut that in slices.
Yeah, and go boil it.
You boil it now.
2 times, 3 times, and then go make soup.
You make a soup with it.
Yeah,
Can you eat it like it is?
No,
No.
try.
Try? No. It's like eating wood, I expect. Yeah, see? Even you can't eat it. I'm not saying something. Oh. Anyway, as I say, they can live off the land. Who would have thought there? A bamboo tree, you could eat that. Okay, well, that's it. We've only been out for 3 hours, but I think I've had enough anyway. I tell you what, this fish is a bit lucky because, you know, I won't be taking him just on his own. So there you are. A little thing.